All right, guys, welcome to web design. All right, so my after school hours that I'm available is Monday and Tuesday by appointment until 4 p.m. Okay. Um, Basically, our objectives for web design is I'm going to give you guys an introduction to web design. Some of you maybe already have a little bit of a background, but what we're focusing on is not just how to code something in HTML, but it's really to program in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all the front end development pieces that we would need to be able to create responsive websites that we could open up on a tablet, on a cell phone, on a desktop, and it still looks awesome. Okay, so we have a lot of work that we got to do, not just the actual coding part, but actually design and what we want it to look like, color schemes, that type of thing, icons. Okay, but our end goal is to have a professional website that we could use for job applications or as a showcase of talents that we have or things that we're really passionate about, that Licking Heights will host for a year. Okay, I've worked hard on that. Our goal is to have our websites completely done by the end of the semester and have everything loaded up and via FTP to the websites and then set up so that other people can access it. Okay. My expectations are the 5 B's. Be prepared, be on time, be respectful, be accountable, and be consistent. Okay, and as always, follow all of Licking Heights High School policies and procedures. Failure to follow expectations, warning and documentation, parental contact and after-school detention, and administrative referral. I reserve the right to, assign you to detention if I feel that was warranted. Okay, necessary supplies for this class. Most of the work must be done in class due to software requirements. However, I'm going to show you guys how to code not using all the bells and whistles of software like Adobe Dreamweaver, even though we will be using that. We will begin learning how to do raw code. Okay, so we will set up some type of source control so you guys can actually pull your code from home and you guys could work on it at home using like a text-based editor like Atom, or if you have that type of software, you guys could write it at home. Okay, we are going to be doing screencasts where you guys are going to be explaining the code that you guys have done and what it does and showing that type of code. So you will have to have headphones with a mic in this class. If you don't have one, you can't get one, you guys can purchase from me for $2 headphones with mic. If you do, I will store it in a Ziploc bag with your name in it, and it will stay stored in the classroom for your use only. Okay, if you have iPhone mic headphones and you need an adapter, I do have a few of those. You guys can purchase those from me for $6. I will again put that in a bag with your name on it, and it will stay in the class for your use only. Okay. Any additional supplies, I'll provide you that I feel you guys need. We are a completely paperless classroom. Okay. Grading. 40% of your grade is on projects. 20% of your grade is professionalism. 20% of your grade is quizzes. 20% of your grade is effort and time management. So let me kind of explain what those are. We are a project-based, flipped, blended, hybrid type class. That means that most of the time in class, you guys are going to be spent actually working on your projects. A lot of my material, since everything is so fluid, especially in web design, is going to be done via screencasts, or I'm going to direct you guys to websites. Okay, so outside of class, you guys are expected to spend at least 5 to 10 hours every week researching, making sure that you guys are well prepared for class to be able to do the coding in class. Okay. Professionalism. Professionalism is, I treat my class as a workplace. Okay. So if you are coming into the door when the bell rings, you are late. Just the same as if an employee was driving into the parking lot when they're supposed to be working, they are late. You need to be sitting in your seat, actively logging in to the computer by the time that the bell rings. Okay? If you're distracting other employees, that is professionalism. If you are off task, that is professionalism. You guys need to use the time that is afforded to you. Okay? I will be giving you guys bi-weekly quizzes. Okay? So that is 20% of your grade. I need to make sure that you guys are paying attention to the material that you are learning, that you're paying attention to the references and the code that you're doing for your projects, and that you're working on that stuff. You're not just waiting for someone else to give you the answers. Okay? 20% of your grade is based on the effort. So if it looks like, or I perceive that you can do a very high quality website and you are giving me crap work, I'm going to grade you down. Okay? If I see that you're busting your butt and you're working really hard, then you're gonna, end up doing well on the effort that you're putting in. Time management is another thing that would go in that area. So time management would be how we're managing our project and the time that we're doing every day. We are going to be using Trello. Trello is a project management type software. It's free. You guys could use this for creating lists and to-do lists and to-do items and all that fun stuff for really anything. But we're going to be using it in our class for planning out our projects and what we need to have done by certain deadlines and putting them into lists and things like that. Okay, so this is an example of what a list could be. This is a list. This is another list. A list is composed of cards. There are however many cards that we want to put in there. In a card, if I open up a card, I could have a description. I can have a due date. I could add attachments, which could be another card, or it could be screenshots, YouTube links to the screencast that you're doing. I could create checklist. Okay, this is a checklist with items that I can check off once I've done them. Okay, and I can, with those links to another card, I could see, be able to go to another card. So this might be something like where that card is related to this card. You had to do the other one first and then do this one, or they are sharing some type of code base or something. Okay, a card could have a linked checklist, which basically just means that I have linked a card instead of an item to that card. I could still check off that card that I've done it, okay, but I could also access that card. We are also going to be using this to project and estimate how much time it will take for each card to finish and how much time we actually spend on it, okay? That is part of your time management. This is an industry standard on making sure you guys are on task, that you guys are going to hit your deadlines, okay? So if you are working as actual web designers, you would have a deadline of what you would have to meet, and you're going to have to plan out your project on what you need to accomplish all before that deadline. You can't wait till the very end and then just try to knock something out, okay? Entering my class. I expect you to enter my class quietly, to sit in your assigned seats, log into Google Classroom, and get started on your Do Now activity, okay? During class, I do allow passes. I do not allow passes within the first or last 10 minutes of class. You're only allowed 3 passes per quarter. Any passes that you have left over, I will give you 5 bonus points for each unused pass in your professionalism grade. You will not be allowed to use a pass to interrupt a class for any reason. The bathroom is right down the hall, so if you ask to use a pass to go to the bathroom, I'm expecting you to be back within about 5 minutes, okay? Malingering is a big pet peeve of mine, so if you are gone for more than that and I feel that you are abusing the privilege of bathroom passes, then I will maybe pull your privilege for the remainder of the quarter if I determine that you're malingering. Food and drink. Food, gum, or candy, not allowed near my computers at all. However, I do have a desk that's placed next to the door. If you need to bring food or drink in, you guys can place it at that desk and only that desk. If you need to get a drink, you can get up from your seat. You can go get a drink. You can sit back down. Okay? But the food and drinks need to stay at that desk. Food, however, is not to be consumed in my class for any reason. So if you have to bring it in, you have to put it on the desk, that food's still going to sit there. You're not going to consume it in my class. Cell phones and headphones. I allow technology in my classroom as a tool and not a crutch. Okay, so let me explain that. Cell phone use. If you're using your cell phone for texting or making phone calls, going to social media sites, making purchases, if you're going on YouTube and pulling up memes and music videos, all of that is being used as a crutch. It's not helping your learning, it's wasting your time. Okay? So if you're doing that, it's not allowed. Cell phones, you can't plug them into my computers to try to charge them. Okay? Unless I have given you permission, it's not allowed. Cell phones can be charged at the charging station at the back of the classroom on a first come, first served basis. If you do use the charging station to charge your cell phone, it must remain there for the remainder of the class. Cell phones may not be can only be used to solve your problem. So let's say that you needed to watch some of my resource material again, but for whatever reason, you forgot your iPhone headphone adapter. Using your iPhone and watching that video, that's okay. I want you to use that. If you're stuck on how to do something and you start doing some research in Google or pulling up some YouTube videos and trying to figure out how maybe someone else arrived at that solution, that's okay. I encourage that. Okay? Music is only allowed when I allow you guys to use headphones and when it's directed, but it should not distract other learners. So if you have it loud enough where other people can hear, that's not okay. You're using it as a crutch. You need to be focused on tasks. So if you're starting to dance around on the music and you're starting to sing along, you're not really focused on your task, and I'm going to start grading you down and not allowing you to do it. YouTube is not a music resource, okay? If you have been directed that you're allowed to use headphones and to listen to music while you're working, that means you may be accessing something like Pandora on the computer, or you guys are using your cell phones to get music, not anything else, okay? My classroom is a no whining zone. You guys will maintain an environment of professionalism. If you're tardy for any reason, excused or unexcused, you come in quietly in my class, you sit down in your seat after either handing me the pass or placing it on my desk, log into Google Classroom and get started on your task, okay? You don't need to disturb the rest of the class. Our structure is always the same, so it's very easy to know exactly what you need to be doing. If I need to get your attention, I will clap twice. What you need to do once you hear my clap is you stop what you're doing, you face me, you remain quiet. I'm going to put out something that I feel is important, or maybe it's an issue that I see a lot of students are having. I will end up giving some type of feedback or instruction at that point. I will finish. You guys can go back to what you're doing, okay? If you need to get my attention, the flags on the side of each workstation are used to get my attention. You put the flag up, that lets me know that you need some type of assistance, okay? The yellow flag is not an excuse to start talking to your neighbors, to pull out your phone, to do anything like that, okay? The yellow flag is there so that you can let me know that you need some type of assistance and you are continually working on the problem. You're trying to work around the problem, or you're working on something else, okay? However, the yellow flag is the final option that you are using because there's only one of me and there's a lot of you guys, Okay? Your first option is to use that computer that's sitting in front of you. Do a Google search, pull up some YouTube videos, try to find out if someone has already arrived at that solution before you, and see if you can implement that solution. If that does not work, you did not find your answer, then ask the neighbors next to you. See if they have any insight in your problem. If you did not get an answer then, so you have exhausted option 1 and option 2, then you can put up your yellow flag. If you put up your yellow flag and I come up to you and I find out that you have not done any type of research and you have not asked your neighbors for any type of help, I am going to walk away. Okay? I'm expecting that everybody in my class is trying to work through their problems. I am not just going to feed you answers. I want you to have to try to work through your problems because you will retain the information better. You'll learn more when you are having to struggle to try to get that answer. Okay? So if you have struggled and you have failed and then I help you, you're going to retain that better than if you're just waiting for me to give you the answer. Okay? If you need my help during instruction, you can go ahead and raise your hand. You can put the flag up. I will call on you when I am finished. Moving around during class, that's not allowed unless I have given you permission. You're expected to be in your seats. At the end of the period, I will direct you when it is okay for you to clean up your area. At that time, you will log off your systems. You will pack up your belongings. And you will wait in your seats until I dismiss you with a have a nice day. Okay? I release you, not the bell. Policies. Homework. Most of the work can be done in class and should be done in class due to software requirements. However, we have some workarounds so that you guys could work at home if you need to make sure that you're hitting your deadlines. Okay? I am expecting and encouraging you guys to spend approximately 5 to 10 hours every week researching the material, making sure you guys are well prepared for class. Most of the time in class should be spent coding for your projects, working on your websites, okay? So you need to be doing some research. You need to be watching those videos. You need to be pulling up those websites and seeing those examples. That is what you need to be doing as homework. If you're running behind and you're not going to hit your deadline, you need to start working at home and spending some of that time, or using the Google form to schedule time for me to be able to work in the classroom Mondays or Tuesdays after school. Late work. You will have certain deadlines of when you guys got to turn in parts of your project. If you turn that in past the due date, you will receive 20% off of what your grade would have been. So if you were going to get 100, you're now only going to get an 80%. And I'm only going to accept that 2 days after the original due date. Anytime after that, it's a 0. Okay? I do not regrade past the 2 days, the final turn-in date past the original date. Okay? Trello, project tracking, your estimated and your spent time, that needs to be done throughout the project. You cannot try to say all the time that you have spent on your project all at once towards the very end of your project. I'm going to grade you down on time management. Okay? That is not using your time effectively. If you have a 504 that is giving you some type of extended time, because I plan in extra time for projects, I am only allowing you an additional week past the due date for turning in your stuff. Tardies. My expectation for being on time is sitting in your seat, actively logging in when the bell rings. If you are late, your first tardy is a warning. Your second tardy, you will serve a 30-minute detention after school Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Okay? If you have a third tardy, I will take 20 points of professionalism from you. I will notify your parents, and you will serve 2 30-minute detentions. Served after school Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, not Wednesday morning. If you have 4 or more tardies, I'm going to take 20 points of professionalism every time you're late. I'm going to refer you to administration. Absences. If you have an excused absence, you will get an extension equaling the number of days that you are excused. So if something is due, part of your project is due and you miss that, you have an extension to turn that stuff in. Okay? If you are absent 1 or 2 days during the start of the project, you have more than enough time to turn in that stuff. Okay? So if you missed a turn-in deadline and you have an extension, it is your responsibility to identify what you need to turn in and to turn it in by the end of the extension. If you do not turn it in, even if you had an excused absence, you will receive a 0 for that project piece. Any work that you have not turned in due to an unexcused absence will also be a 0. My culture that I want in the classroom is a positive, working, collaborative environment. Okay, so I do want you guys to work together. I do want you guys to enjoy what you're doing. I want you guys to feel like you have experienced what life would be like as a web designer for a semester. Okay, what I don't want to happen though is you to sit in the class and wait for someone else to do the work for you. Okay, that's why we have quizzes. That's why we are managing the time to make sure that you are learning the material for yourself, but you are seeking help when needed. Okay? All right. I look forward to see what your guys' websites are going to be coming up. This will be a really exciting class. You just need to make sure you're using your time wisely and applying yourself.